ehoye. Hello, Pachomotemenka.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right. Awesome. Yeah, I had a program be this afternoon. If it dragged a little longer than I expected, but Onyankopon Adam metimi aba abitru. Ain't and then maybe topic I'm going discussing was in taxes or asem in taxes the truth and take home pay. The taxes the truth and take home pay. Na saa topic yi adeɛ baako a ɛda makoma so paa because say a lot of people will misconception and also misunderstanding about taxes. Into your expectation when it comes to tax season, it's a little bit different. Into no na me pese me use this moment na me share a little bit insight about taxes so that we can have a better understanding of it. Into me share my screen no. Actually, let me know when you can see. Good. I'm good to go. All right, not much, but again, why this matters. A lot of times, people overpay taxes without realizing it. The truth of the matter is we work so hard then but the way I see fill your W4 form and actually how much money they should take out of our paycheck. You know how you get hired at a job and then tax form to complete the W4 form is what I'm talking about. And then I bet you how much tax they should take out of your paycheck. Now, W4 form, a lot of time people don't even understand the check it. If you are or say, I was me claiming 0, obviously I was claiming 1, but 0 actually saying 1 actually saying, and they just put numbers and then normal claim with then they sign and submit. Obi so what sign and submit they don't even check it again. For fees you're hiring a juma more on coffee you hear say the biasanity and I mean change here. But life happens, a lot changes. And you are supposed to literally check your W4 forms now completed. You're supposed to check it once a year or when a major event happened in your life. So you're supposed to check it either once a year or when a major event happened in your life. And that's something to realize. Now, we're also going to talk about refunds often hide cash flow problems. How does refund now at the end of the year, you file your taxes, you get your refund. How does it affect your cash flow? Cash flow, your day-to-day activities throughout the whole year, every month. Groceries or errands how your cash is flowing throughout the whole month, every month till the end of the year. And so understanding taxes it also equals financial empowerment. To understand it well, it helps you have a better control when it comes to your finances. And truth number 1 is your refund is not free money. Refund now, tax. I say this a lot. Most middle income families, we are expecting a lot of refund and me file tax me the kotoka me file the tax. I see if they say a discount check. No, it's not a free money. And your refund now we seek your money that you could have gotten throughout the whole year, and no at the end of the year or what the amount back. And so technically it's not like it's a free money. That deductions W4 form now me can't how you complete it will depend on how much money they should take out of your paycheck. And because of how much they took out of your paycheck will also determine that at the end of the year you overpaid. Uchia broso. Na government do see come back. And I say, when you enough, near Jodo, come on, no at the end of the year. So it's two things. It's not like it could be a free baby. Now government is just gonna although they are abroad. The goal, pan, say, ideally, and I know, say, sometimes people don't understand this concept, but the goal really is, say, and can file little tax, can you balance it out? And, at the end of the year, tax is not your filing. It's only reconciliation. I know this is a hard truth, but it's reconciliation. In other words, what you pay, did you overpay? Did you difference amount? Did you underpay? Not after. So it's kind of be, you owe the government. And at the end of the day, technically, nanka file tax. Ebia, when you brusa $100 and now what they car $100, that is breaking even. And now I say zero. My family ebinomo taxes are they about me balancing it out ye ama omuvi a zero on the car and now on so when you refund. Ideally, dear, that would have been the best. Now the difference they say when you overpay, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And every month and on the whole channel, right? And so groceries not enough and go to groceries, gas, and the whole channel. Meanwhile, no, this kind of my government, right? Overpay to the government. Ebia unya level a little bit better throughout the whole year. We have some people, so why ebia the refund can make sense to some people, and they say, maybe I prefer to overpay. Send a refund at the end of the year. Why? Because it forces me to save. It forces you to save with the government. And you say your more interest, they're not gonna give you any interest on your money. So kind of that investment account be more cranky, be making interest for you. But it forces people to save with the government. So sometimes people just like that idea, say, at the end of the year, no, if I let my taxes out, I'm going to get a refund. It is our refund, though. Say, and yet, my mom overtake sika from my paycheck. And Kebianka for so me, my man see wusika every single month. Sometimes people like the idea, no, mainly because it forces them to save money. However, would you rather struggle throughout the whole year with your paycheck not being enough and just receive a refund at the end of the year when you file your taxes? Or would you rather have the money throughout the whole year, budget well, and feel comfortable throughout? Now, budgeting is also another thing. And when you are not budgeting, say if it's not within my budget, I can't get it. But most of us know we live as we are going as it comes as and one year spending near to home near fireable. And you have to understand how to balance it out and budget it well. If you were supposed to get like extra 300 non-Quebec government, if you were supposed to get that money now, how would you use it? How would you use it? And I say, can you budget it in such a way, say, and I say, it's going to hurt you as well. And that's the goal. The goal in the same car. Plan nanka you balance it out at the end now. 2, your take-home pay is a choice. How much sika you have your rate. At the end of the month, $2,000. So $2,000 no. How much would you could feel? It depends on how you fill your W4 form. And the better say this is amount would you could feel. So it's your choice and how you control it. Now credits, any dependent over a low tax and you might refund your credits. Any dependents affect your withholdings. Now planning beats guessing. And rather than just guessing, no, I just wanted to make this across that we have to really understand how you see your taxes, no, and how we can also benefit from it at the end of the year. And so understand your paycheck. You can say your gross pay versus your net pay. Your gross pay is basically say at the end of the 2 weeks now, you check 2,000, that's your gross pay. Your net pay, it's a free ma, same and aka. That's your net pay. Now, federal and state taxes and social security and Medicare and this and money in a free and on the free one, then you get to your net pay. All right. Now, some people work with W-2 at the end of the year or file or company in Bebro, either W-2 and also Bebro 1099. These two things, they work differently. Omo juma echamuka with W-2 no, yet omo taxes based on how omo complete omo W-4 form no. Now 1099 no there, you have control over it. Into 1099 no, and only the until tax. When you don't understand 1099 now, you would think say, hey, Obi oji 1099 at the end of the year no, and you say account like you're gonna owe money at the end of the year. But the 1099 also will control at the end of the year for you to know how much tax I was owed here. Until you control and you plan your taxes well with the 1099. More responsibility, more opportunities. Because it's say 1099 because you are an independent worker. Now, independent worker now, in other words, now you have the ability to deduct your expenses into taxable amount and no now me deduct so many other things in factor. Then the rest and which you have to tax. Meanwhile, no, and that whole amount, say be at the end of the year, so you might be $70,000. So $70,000 no, W-2 worker. Tax automatically definitely not 70,000 but so 1099 worker there, 1099 independent contractor, meaning say at the end of the year, no, you received the whole $70,000, no. Now, when I will bet say out of the $70,000, no, say and I will say Uchiasu tax. You're not gonna pay taxes on the whole $70,000. Whereby W-2 need to tax on the 70,000. 1099 no bet tax not on the 70,000, but that 70,000 no. Bet the two expenses in free and Saturday they can wait you tax. And there's a little bit benefit for a person to have that independent contractor working. But if you don't understand the concept of how to keep track of your expenses throughout the whole year, it'd be a mileage, it'd be a home office, it'd be so many other things that it can play a role here. It's some things you needed throughout the while you're working at 1099. It's going to help you to understand how to control that as well. So more responsibility and more opportunity as well when it comes to 1099. Now, credits versus deductions. Credits versus deductions. Now, credits it reduce your tax dollar for dollar. Until there are nearly earn over low tax nearly a titi free mu and san be a what the car na san when you refund no and only credits and deductions no. Credits will reduce your tax dollar for dollar. Into credits will basically say $1,000 you get it in deductions in credits. And the deductions reduce with taxable amount. It says and me explain 1099 and your expenses and as a standard deduction it will two deductions either say utiki standard no abai no beka say it be a single person 14,600 with standard deduction 2 years 70,000 yes a move 14,600 the also tax near and no free 70,000 not the becano and also near the calculated taxes and on a deduction into your standard deduction and some more or more itemizing especially or more move because it's depending on what state though state be some rules if you want more movie or more insurance on the home even sometimes taxes on the home other items throughout the year, medical expenses. There are so many things. If you are if you file your tax and you do deductions now, itemizing deduction now, you literally going to say almost standard no what's in a can, but outside of the standard no, you can also explain and say these are also the other things that you want to deduct, and so that's the deduction. And so knowing the difference really saves you money. That's the good thing about it, knowing the difference on the credits and then the deductions you need to know. And so that's the difference. How life changes affect taxes. When you get married or you get divorced, you need to go and update your W-4 form, because that will affect taxes on movie ticket out, and it will determine whether you're going to owe money at the end of the year or you're going to gain refund. Having children, December 31st of last year, 2025, Krana or qualify say or reclaim money as you want to throughout the whole year. Having children and a sense of marriage or divorce also. If you are married on December 31st, Krana of the previous year, now you are considered say you'll be married throughout the whole year from January to December. Until you have to either file married filing jointly or married filing separately. So soon as when you have children, it's here. And I say, side hustle, which is the 1099 or income, like a business idea. And you can also all of these things will affect it, how your taxes will be paid or deducted from your paycheck. So marriage or divorce, having children, all these things, you have to update your W-4. It's a major life event that happens, and so you have to update your W-4. Common tax mistakes are again, common tax mistake, relying only on refunds, Yes, a Drew Honum will be a trained and a refund now. Something major, big project. Until you have to know which word you are. They will rather give the money to the government for them to hold it for them. At the end of the year, now for our tax, you get a refund there. That's what's okay. I know, say a lot of times, people promote, say you come file your taxes with them, they will help you get more refund. Please do not fall for anybody that obekako baby, so you can get big refund. Be careful with stuff like that, because again, if it is not the money you've paid for, Sikabia and free through government somebody to check BN. And so you have to be careful for when people want to do some strange things for you to get more refund. It's really about reconciliation with your money that you've paid or did not pay. And Sika Uchia and I said they went. Again, not adjusting W-4 and ignoring side income. Any income bill should be accounted for. Any income, all your income. No, do throughout the whole year, no. Or your Juma bear 7, or switch your Juma Sahabe 7. 7 in now one kai so 7. In Sabia at the end of the year, we receive W2 for bear 4. And I said 5 for no crano. Into one kai 2 na cano. Into we know ya 4 we are now or them filing the taxes. But then later on, not 2 na cano W2 Abba. And because if you are crisis or mujaye and some issues with the company, Tibia, the W2s got delayed or whatnot. But when you do that, you have to, what's it? Audit to nearby, normal adjustments. Emma, it's very important to do adjustments and fix your tax return when any other income here. And it's very important. Let's pay attention to that. And also no tax strategy. It's very important to say we get the tax strategy. This tax is not yet it's original. That reconciliation also. We have to have a strategy. Refund. I'm gonna leave time for questions and answers. And to say, question there as I am talking now, feel free. Now, Now, how to increase your take-home pay? How to increase your take-home pay? This car would go fee every single 2 weeks, and I say every single month. So you rather have your money other than say my government or interest. I'm going to call you about a delayed paycheck, not really any extra income there. How to increase your take-home pay? No, yeah. So if you load W2 form now. Now this is the thing. When you're filling your W2 form now, you have to get your filing status. And two, say be multiple jobs. Anytime be will fill W4 no, that form no, IRS consider that to be a single income. Say or any other job or second job be away, you won't be on my 2 jobs, but double single you have 2 jobs who fill W4 form. There is a place you have to make sure you tell it say second job, and it will estimate how much income will come out of that job for you. It's very important. One, check it as partner. It means it's over consider say a juma we now. At the end of the year, tax now you may owe money because someone deducted the right amount. And two, couples. Say mummy nyina moye juma is 2 income. Baako filling a W4 form no na one fancy so say ne spouse and so a year juma. That is also something that couples file tax are omobitimi aboka, because again one notify say the other spouse and so year juma. It is one thing that it can also affect that they will not withdraw enough from the paycheck at the end of the year. You may also owe money. It's very important. Says 2 people, spouse, Mawaria. Yes, you have to put on the married filing jointly or not say married filing separately. Now, married filing jointly, I also making sure say why indicate say spouse no ewusika. Also indicated say spouse no juma, and and then dependent. It's as only one no. This is where it comes in. Dependent. Is it just you? And I say dependents. Dependents no dependents na and make sure say you are putting the right amount when it comes to your dependents now. If you're not putting the right amount now, it is also going to affect when you factor either somebody take it more and somebody take it less. I'm taking more out of your, excuse me, sorry. I'm taking more out of your paycheck and I say I'm taking less out of your paycheck. So if you have 3 kids, that's a will claim dependence on your W4 now. Enter 3 kids. Say on cram answer. Say be a enter, say be a on crack 2. Instead of 3 now, they will deduct according to 2 kids. Instead of say deducted 3 kids, they will deduct according to 2 kids. Yes. So at the end of the year, you will get a refund. And I said, yeah, you only put 1 kid on it. At the end of the year, you get refund. So we put the same amount. Say, yeah, now put you 3 in. Yes, so they will be deducting the right amount. Into dependence, also plays a major role here. And to make sure, say, and only one thing that you are adjusting correctly. And sana say bia or say or other job no double no triple or you are not sure say at the end of the year ubenya refund and also ubenya money. You can also deduct additional money. There is a place abaka say yeah deducted $50 extra every paycheck. That's also another thing to cover that up. You can also do that. And then it's all about planning. It's not about panicking. Let's plan accordingly so you don't panic. Say if you have the opportunity to do a side business, to get a side income, please go for it, because and also wow Emma ultimately deduct some expenses beer a bit me you don't pay a lot for the government to take more money out of your paycheck. From truth to action. Review your last year tax return. Understand your paycheck. Get tax guidance. Being a message me. So remember inquiring for questions as well. Get tax guidance. Never guide throughout the W4 need some of these things. No, it is very, very important, and make sure that you are staying up to date. In tax return now you're filing. IRS for have 3 years that they can audit. When somebody is making you get money that you actually don't deserve, that's something you have to be careful about, because they have 3 years or make me pick your tax return at a random. Say yeah, audit your tax return. No. They have 3 years. You wait me file a tax 3 years ago. Ama this year yakase ye babe audit sa tax return no, then it be a nyama ewoso no, you have to prove it. Okay, know and understand these things, because a lot of time no, it be a honoma only side hustle, the idea only side 1099 income. Meanwhile, it be a deal filing the tax no kase ubi. Ma who be a auditing and yasem ketwa, because omodi assess to say or juma or umyaten and namiwa nipa didn't have that. Inti ye de assess wamana sano e buano e maninya more refund. I just can deal you. But America there's nothing like free lunch. Or maybe Joe Musica. Or maybe Joe Musica, and you can also get in trouble. It's so making some decisions here. We want to be careful when it comes to your tax return. So make sure, say again, you all follow taxes. You are careful about it, and you are not getting yourself into any tax issues. Then final takeaway is taxes are a tool, not a punishment. You're not there to punish us to pay taxes or nothing. Knowledge puts money back in your pocket. If you understand this, it helps you say at the end of every month, and you get more. If you know how to manage money, it is very good. Say you don't live paycheck to paycheck, struggle from hand to month, only for at the end of the year, and only do come back with no interest at all. Smart women plan ahead. So let's plan ahead. I wanted to share this with you in January, because I feel na yasha for 2026. I say yasha 2026 yasi. It's very important. Say obekwa W4 I will feel it. That has all feeling year. Questions be on correct it now. And yes, the no. And then no, and I said the month of January no. A swaba na be obecha in next year tax season. Until every year is very important. Say January, no. Okay, now review W4. And I said, do I want them to take more money from my paycheck? And I say, my mom might take it just enough. So at the end of the year, it's about you and how you like your money to be. But the good thing is, say, know how to take control of that money. Know how to take control of your money. Thank you very much. Any questions? I know that I just have to put this together so we can kind of have a discussion. So we will questions, yeah. Please feel free and let's talk about it.
For this that no is yesterday.
Mipacho sisa, where mipacho me bisa question bi afobasi. Na me bisa say, medjuma ayeye no, eno kwa na yetimi fare tax. Ana say ABS kebi wo ho a wetimi twia wo abamu a wetimi fare ho tax. For example, me fan say bia na wa fare ama wo maame na wo kunu so wo mra wo twia kebi wo abamu na wetimi de no so fare tax ana.
As in say expenses ana. Say uku all the file tax as in say a expenses amount. Is that what you're saying?
Because if I say be our file ama wo maame ni a charge of. Let's say no, you draw whole receipt here, and no, you the tax.
Debbie. And you know, we're Juma away, yeah, and a year baby who are contact. So, in other words, when you work sika income now, there's amount you are supposed to pay, depending on or status, or file tax. And more standard deduction, say, a binary say, we are estimating, say, as a single person and as a married person, this is how much your deduction should be. I know the SSK with the Nikwasuchian tax. In standard deduction, multifirma, the you are supposed to pay taxes on it. Unless a business and you may be that's all expenses. I'll wait me to those expenses in the frame now. That is when you can deduct some expenses from it. But other things such as say beer or filing one kasao personal expenses there, it is not deductible.
That's it.
So Miss maybe in this case, now I find say Uchia over tuition a good idea. So better receipt on and also follow the same category.
No. So tuition is different. Educational credit is very important. In graduate school, there's child tax credit and your educational credits. It is and is part of the credits now. So very, very necessary. Tuition, books, any more expenses considering their school. You're talking about college, right? You can file under 24 years college now. You can use those expenses now. Mommy and keeping records. Very important for us to keep records when it comes to IRS. Me when I'm doing these things, me file folder and I say yeah, it's a computer so now. Throughout the year, and one period now there to be a won't kai. Pictures and I say yeah, you pull the PDFs on your computer. No, I say you got to baby. The reason why I say that and I say I make an IRS for 3 years, they can audit your tax return. Until when anything of that is supposed to come out, you have records of these things. Until yes, educational credit is very, very good. A boy with tax return, so make sure you're keeping it.
That's
Mama, that's now. My first question is the Ubia all file a combination of W2 1099 even advice as Bamo. And then the second year, so we should file it 99 straighter. The enticement of a amount of deductions are every Oma ebia reference nazi, but our advice has one relating to the fact that when the future will be dependent on how much taxes they pay, especially relating to social security now, all those things nazi. In the 1099 now, normally you feel that you have an advantage of making so many deductions and even advice as more considering their future.
Okay, so when it comes to 1099 W2 now, it's very, very common. Sometimes people have W2 ejuma and they get a 1099 ejuma now. Yes, so when it comes to that now, yes, take tax, in frame, but it's something you can contribute to. There are other contributions with me as a 1099 worker. I say, maybe say now that I'm an independent of myself, I'm a business, I fall under that. And with that being said, I do other contributions for retirement, for social security, and you can do that. Now, so, 1099 Juma. Follow tax, IRS says to say you cannot say follow tax now. Waboka 3 years in a row. Say follow with W2 and a 1099 out. Say oboka in your 1099 ejumanumwa. You're gonna get a refund from the taxes you paid in your W2. That is when you're filing it together. And you you could earn more. To say, yeah, your first year, most of the time, or more, that adjumano first year, no, your expenses no also. It be a side income, and I say visa no. Your expenses no also, but and it may be more than your income. It be a first year of business, and I say visa no. And so with that being said, no, failure be a as in adjumano per se. When you mix that with your W2 now, so it be a income and I say refund and coverage a free or W2 no can cover some of the a car and on the 1099 no, because it say the negative no. The negative income no from the 1099 no equate or taxable amount no so. In filing W2 and 1099 together is very, very common. Very, very common. But what I can say about other deductions now is not coming. Let's say, one, you are getting it from your W2 because you still have the W2. That's you are doing it together. But even if you don't now, you can pay these things in separate. Over to me, I decided say you want to contribute to those things, and you can do that as well. I do that. Until say, open say I'll contribute to your other retirement funds and so they are financial institutions. You can do that and get those taken care of.
Yeah, that's
My son for me, me so me question so mofra yes youth employment adwuma na almost say W2 form under age no betimi dey akawo as a mother no ho na afani ala.
Yeah, so when you have a crowd so adwuma nkete your threshold like if the income no is not more than the standard deduction now, it means say like say be omunya yet tax free or mo paycheck no more or no W2 no obetimi they are filing just for because of the refund. They're not required to file, but they get it for the refund. But you as a mother no or still or a dependent, you can still claim the child as a dependent. Say be a refund be and I'll be a no ever file to get the refund. That is if say omoting the tax out, they can file for that. But you still claim the child as a dependent. If that makes sense. Any other questions?
Yo, Auntie, yedi kan da sipa ne unchechiri ya odi chechiri na ene de me basu late kakra. Nti media me pe se me bisa ne se iba hanche master ti adwuma me nya 1 year. Na opani bi etu me forma me fele W4 ni bi.
Okay.
Na W2 ni de mintimi se e automatic em se me pay bebe bia na automatic. Any taxes be New York ni him kiti bebrebe. Iti question is say ese me fail W4 no afia mi do yawura mu ya na bi mu na.
So W4 form now fill in and no the outcome was on no tax no motete won kiti bebrebe na hu no. Your required deduction e wo honoma omote say some states e wo more required deduction na percentages. Now W4 no say the usi kan no e no mbete no. So to say the usi feel e no na make say so o feel ya nka afibia no e hu behia say we be review. No, I say, Afibia reviewer is good. Until I make say getting this information at the beginning of the year, no, a bit well because I say at the end of the year, no, not what me I correctly. But most of the time, no, amount for Baha say for so many years, ni W2 say on change your juma on your beam, ni W4 form, no. So on change your juma on your beam. But it is very important to be review, Tabia. Or by it was just you're gonna file single. Along the line, now file now Uber filing married filing jointly. In Tinsano, also call the 2 W4 form. No, I can say, this is how your filing status is going to be. And as I say, when you're dependent, also go claim also no more to the right amount in this animal. And this W4 form, senior always ya can was on and no near better tell. If what complete here, make sure you're reviewing it every year. Be the review, and I say major event, something changes about your life and your filing status now. Who be here pass will be review no update.
Yo, me da se pa ansa na ma feel no ma wari mom. Na me bisa me re no se me nye baby a 0000. Nti me yen 000 o hima me da se. Na me sa.
And America, no, most people know they only one come just. So the answer is 0, not okay, but again, no, how you put it, 0 no is ideally they will take more from your paycheck now. At the end of the year, no, ubenya refund and it's not likely so baboka. Yeah, and an American sometimes people would rather say, yeah, bet you more throughout the year, no more struggle, paycheck to paycheck. No, at the end of the year, no, I file tax, no, and you refund, you didn't see can I to you know, they are brosso, it is not their man, basically. In theory, you're too more, Tiana amount for and for more man on my BBI 000.
You with that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, my question is, now, my question is, meaning, say, Miami, we say, no crescent, medical, we say, no cre, and San Matua, so. Matisse, it's a big, beautiful bella, or more a passy, you know. Maybe I was to say, oh, year over time, taxes. I was so much in the crescent.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a new year on my past to say yes, overtime because tax because it was killing a lot of people. So way overtime we will not taxes are just coming in. Yes, they changed that.
Okay, good. And my next question is it is no after no overtime income no or more at the back usikani nyina no ama na ba be taxable income and na is it here.
So they will separate that from your taxable amount because they say, and no, almost say it's non-taxable. In some states, be a man, they're not liking that idea. And so some, you may be a man car or tire overtime. No, they are rather cutting it and hiring people instead. But people that are doing overtime. No, so what it is, they say, the overtime now, I say you're not gonna pay taxes on. No, that overtime will be separated from the actual income. Also, we pay no. When they pay you, they separate it on the pay and it's overtime. This is what amount in here. Until you check your almost brown pay stub now. Almost separate your regular pay from the overtime pay, and that is how they separate it at the end of the year, so that any part of the tax. The tax software is not so updated showing overtime amount on the side. You don't pay taxes on those.
Oh, okay. It is hard because
I'm on for me.
say why untia nese at the end of the year na kasibutria diana akoye how. Now mimi say okay what's the way na say na mimi say musa say ebe be your gross income ebe kan wana.
Your total gross
overtime, right? Ebe cut total gross income.
So your gross income now is always your gross income, right? Yeah, your gross income is always going to be your total income you received without anything deducted from it, right? So that's always going to be your gross income. Now, aside your gross income, no, then may have taxable amount out of it. So, and nona you hear out of either say a key standard deduction and overtime out of it. Near heard dear Becca Senebeya Ubichi and taxes.
Okay, that's very.
No problem.
If I jump a question back on so I was chatting and was say, please, what about disability? When you get money from SSA, do you have to file taxes?
But I say
Question back or chatting him. Or say, please, what about disability? When you get money from SSA, do you have to file taxes?
Well, yes. Any income via ubenyano, you take that form to file. The question is, do you have any other income? Any sign? That's a lot of time. No, and maybe some other time we'll talk about this, but retirement, people are not preparing well for retirement. So when you get to the point where you are taking Social Security money now, depending if you have any other income coming from anywhere else now, not say a broad threshold no swa, then the tax portion of it. But when your income is not over the threshold now, then you can keep more of it. But if not, there's other factors to that and how much taxes they're going to take out of that. But you have to file, regardless. I hope that helps.
But when was it disability?
But just say then.
Disability, SSA.
Okay, yeah, not the Social Security, no. Okay, so yeah, again, the disability, no, and we get as income, no, be our own say, at the end of the year, no, we have to report it to the IRS. And yes, the SSA, no, so you have to file with it.
Yes, Sister Mpotomundi, so relating to Social Security, my understanding is a certain age threshold. If you work any number of hours, it's supposed to be tax free.
What if you do what?
It's if you work after a certain age, you don't pay taxes on that sort of additional income to your Social Security benefits.
So yeah, those again, it's something that when it comes to those Social Security and retirement, there are definitely thresholds on those things, and that's also something separate. But yeah, they have the taxable amount, and then the non-taxable amounts, and so So yeah, that's a little separate from the tax season stuff. That's more of you're talking about Social Security for retirement.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are so much thresholds and understanding how much if you're getting income outside of that and that, there's amount they'll tax you on and all that stuff. And then there's the taxable amount part, and then there's the non-taxable amount part of it as well. Okay, so
Sister Kocho, in PNP, a lot of individuals have become victims of some misadventure and are misadvised by their tax preparers, may eventually get into trouble. Could you advise us on how to choose our tax preparers in our involvement in whatever steps they have to do? Because anything over finally, I will never sign into when the program comes in a very big victim to such misadventure. And I have advice never mind in our selection of it.
Yeah, I are very, very important, and amount for Bibri. The truth of the matter is, say issue ba or tax return no what. Uintini nkokase na minim ho hwe. Tax return. You can't say unim hwe na me tax preparer na and you're not supposed to be, which is why I choose to discuss this topic in the bay. I bet me biasi. No, I yet careful. When you chase after refund, baby, na and no, I didn't get any money back. Obi or ban of a filing in tax. Me and people will come and say, but obey to me, I am a mania more refund. I can't do that. Remember, as I said, no. your refund is basically sika wuchiaye. We are going to reconcile and then see, say, did you overpay or did you underpay? And if you overpay that's when you're going to get the refund. But who do tax and so come be a very knowledgeable person, they will be able to find all the deduction and creditor a bit about to keep more of your money. I don't know what, but it is very important say your taxes is filed by an integrity person. Because sometimes no preparers need be wahonoma there and almost and yet some of these things and it doesn't make sense. Say be any part of a file ne tax no. Na sɛ ne fees a wɔbɛcharge nipa korɔ no wɔbɛcharge nipa korɔ fees bɛɛ $300 a na ebia nipa no nso so sika onyaayɛ truthfully sika a ɛwɔ sɛ ebia wonya no ɛyɛ ebia $100 and $200 a ɔsi na ɛbɛyɛ ma charge nipa korɔ 300 na refund onyaayɛ yɛ bɛyɛ 120 na maame nfɛ biribi nhyehyɛ mu ma no na onya big amount sɛ na ɛbɛyɛ a mɛso mɛtumi anya kwan a charge me $300 no. Be very careful. And so the baby koshisha home now when you more money. Assemba, it comes to you first. Oh, it comes to you first. The IRS no will write to you. And sana could defend it until you are the one that's going to be in trouble. We should not be ignorant on our tax return. And a kai say your tax return is not free from audit. 3 years. 3 years. Into mistake be a ma you wait me account for 3 years. Into the IRS can go back for 3 years to audit your tax return. At the time of ignorance, you overlooked, but mommy and you're careful with some of these things, and pick carefully when it comes to taxes, and make sure say you're communicating, say and or more advertiser with refund in your back when your words of fast mawunya refund then they are doing extra stuff. And so more careful with those things. A lot of people have been victims that are hedging. More careful. All right. And I think say in time aso intino major hwama and paying for say we be hobby mana more up na ya bompaye. Aka.
Radio of mommy.
Pray anytime. Pray when you're sad. Pray when you're glad. Pray when you're weak. Pray when you're strong. Just pray and pray. 'Cause anytime is prayer time. Pray, pray, pray anytime. Pray when you're sad. Pray when you're glad. Pray when you're weak. Pray when you're strong. Just pray and pray. 'Cause anytime is prayer time. Ooh. The offices in heaven, they're opened up for you every second.